But at any point in that time when you were thinking about becoming or a path into professional cricket or into playing cricket at a high level, did you ever consider going back to Sri Lanka or trying to?
Yeah, I mean,
Would have been a good
at the
time for
time,
something.
I was an opening bowler. I was at my best in my first spells when the ball was new, etc. I was touching the late 130s, that sort of speed. At that time, it was reasonably sharp. In
Yeah.
fact, I think the Telegraph in the UK described me after a county game as he will fill out to one day become genuinely quick. Prophetic
Oh
words
wow.
that never quite happened. I never quite filled out, but anyway. Um, so there was a time just before the 1995 World Cup when, through a number of connections, and I won't name them because they might be embarrassed now, there was definite talk about trying to get me back to actually play for Sri Lanka. At the time, at the speeds that I was bowling, I was probably going to be the quickest in their squad. Chaminda was obviously a genius, in terms of his
Yeah.
bowling, and the rest of that World Cup team was basically you get 7 or 8 overs out of the new ball, and then you just go to
Good.
Murali and all of those guys. So I had that moment where I thought about taking up the offer, but I still foolishly had these visions of making it in Sheffield Shield cricket or wherever. So I said no, and Sri Lanka were ranked, out of the top 8. And then 4 months later, they went and won that bloody World Cup. That could have been
Oh,
a
what could have been?
sliding doors moment, mate. I
Oh
I
wow.
reckon I would have made that side batting 7 and bowling 4 or 5 overs up top.
Yeah.
Possibly, I don't know who would have missed out because the guys that were in that team were fabulous cricketers. But certainly, if you're getting it through at 135s, 138s, perhaps you're in that sphere. Um, but yeah, I mean, who knows? We'll never ever know. But that was a moment where I just think, gosh, my life could have turned completely had that one decision been made. And
Oh
that was when
wow.
I was at my best, probably bowling the fastest that I did in the mid 90s.
Yeah. Can we talk about playing for the MCC? Because once you finished Oxford, you didn't take up uh, the contract situation, but you did continue to play good level of cricket, right?
Yeah, so every year then afterwards, I kept going back to England to play as the overseas professional in various leagues around England. Every club's allowed one overseas pro. So I did that for another 10 seasons around the place. And during that period, obviously came across a lot of good people. One of them was an MCC member who put me up for MCC membership. Um, if people are unaware of how the MCC membership works, you can either put your child down when they're born and they become a member just by waiting long enough on the waiting list, or you can become a playing member. And if you put down for a playing member, you can get fast tracked, but you've got to choose whether you want A, B, or C. And if you choose A, which is the highest level, you get the highest level of privileges, but your performances are judged on that level as well. If you decide to become a high level member, then your performances in all the probationary games are judged at a high level. So I became a A-list playing member, which then led to tours all around the world. MCC pays for everything. The most magnificent humans I've ever met. They taught me so much about life and opened up so many doors to other jazz hat cricket type of John Paul Geddes and the Duchess of Norfolk and all those sort of beautiful places. And that's all started with those MCC connections that I still hold dear.